Hey everybody, how's it going? Back here today with another video. It's been a little while since I've made a video just because a few things have been going on. I've been on holiday recently, hence the suntan slightly, and yeah, just a few other things going on. So if my voice sounds a bit strange today, it's because I've recovered from a cold, and it's only a cold, nothing else. Yeah, so my voice may sound a bit hoarse, but anyway, I wasn't going to do a video so soon, but then I saw a thread done recently by Metal Mickey, and that was an interesting one which I thought I'd jump on. I did actually join one of his before, which was 10 Terrible Albums, which was a really great idea. This one's also a great idea. It's choose 10 great title tracks by different bands, and also 5 which are not so great. So he called them dishonorable mentions, or ones which maybe you just don't like so much. So I thought, yeah, that's a really good idea, and it sounds like a lot of fun. I've watched a few other people's videos and they were really good as well, so yeah, I thought I would decide to do it myself. Now, similar to Metal Mickey, I wouldn't say these ones I'm saying are the best title tracks ever, or the worst for the dishonorable mentions, but just ones which immediately sprung to mind for me. And as with Mickey, they're in no particular order and there's a mix of genres, so we'll just get straight into it. So we'll start off with the 10 great title tracks, in my opinion. So first of all, Agatus with The Weaving Fates. So yes, I've spoken about this album on the channel before, in my general collection video and also my 10 innovative albums thread. Agatus are a Greek black metal band, and it's very melodic and atmospheric. What's interesting about this band is they incorporate elements of traditional heavy metal, but it's very melodic and catchy. It's got a gallop to it and so on. And like the opening track of this album, the title track, The Weaving Fates, I think it's the strongest one. Like just so much atmosphere. Like it's galloping, it's melodic, but then they also have the part where the vocals go into a sort of like impassioned narrator's voice telling a story, and they have these icy, eerie synths in the background, and like just great melodic guitar solos, and then great traditional heavy metal vocals on top of the raspy vocals. It's just got everything, and it's such a strong track. That's the first one on the album, and it's just a brilliant call to battle. So yeah, that would be my first choice, Agatus with The Weaving Fates. Okay, next one. This is one I've also talked about, Bloodbath with Breeding Death. So this was a mini album, or EP, so 3 tracks on it. Yeah, the title track, Breeding Death. The opening track as well, very strong opener, like just great traditional brutal death metal, sort of paying tribute to the death metal of the late 80s and early 90s, which I really like, and with a like tinge of Swedish influence as well, with the band being from Sweden. But just such a brilliant opening track, heavy chunky riffs, great low growling guttural vocals, and a lot of twists and turns in that song. So it's like a riff salad, but when I say that, I don't mean it in a bad way. They just jump from one idea to another idea, but just chock full of fantastic riffs, heavy, brutal, and so many catchy moments where you go, oh, this part's coming, like the dun 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 with the bass before the breakdown. Such a brilliant track. To be honest, this whole EP is great, but like the first track, Breeding Death, it's my favorite. So brilliant opening track and title track, Bloodbath with Breeding Death. Okay, up next, now this one, it's perhaps cliched and predictable, and I noticed that some people chose it as one of their dishonorable mentions, but that's okay. For me, I just still love this song, Dio with Holy Diver. So yeah, as I said, some may see it as a cliched choice, but I'll just never forget the first time I heard this song when I bought it, and I was sort of a late starter to Dio, I have to admit, but it reminds me of a particular period I was in my life, like where I was living, where I was working and so on, and just such a great atmosphere, and no matter how often I listen to this song, I just never get sick of it. Like, really enjoyed it. Like, when I listened to it again this morning, by the way, I listened to all of these songs this morning just to check my choices. Yeah, really enjoyed it. It made the hair on my arms stand up on end. Just such a great vocal melody, great solos, great atmosphere, great lyrics. Yeah, and I just think, like, I mean, obviously this whole album is brilliant, but it's such an iconic song, so that would be my third choice, Dio Holy Diver. Alright, up next, Dismember with Massive Killing Capacity. Okay, so yeah, this is the title track of this album, obviously. This was an album by Dismember, which is obviously a Swedish death metal band, one of my favorite death metal bands of all time, and the first Swedish death metal band I heard. Now, this album is considered by some fans as one of their weaker ones. I disagree, the production is really good. there are some songs, you know, which maybe don't grab me as much, but I think overall it's a really strong album. But track 2, Massive Killing Capacity, the title track, just got this heavy, chugging, aggressive riff, and it's so catchy. And then the pre-chorus and chorus is these catchy, bouncy riffs and great vocals from Maddie, the vocalist, and they're almost like sort of like sing-along, and the lyrics and everything, but the way it all just melds together, it's brilliant. Also great melodic guitar solos over the chugging heaviness. You know, Dismember has that raw down tune kind of sound, but yeah, really it is. And I would have to say there are a lot of great songs on this, but Massive Killing Capacity is my favorite. So yeah, there you go, Dismember, Massive Killing Capacity. All right, up next, this is an album I've also talked about, and the title track, Gorguts with Considered Dead. So yeah, I've spoken about this album extensively on a couple of occasions, so I'm not going to do that again, don't worry. But yeah, just the title track, Considered Dead, like a great sort of stomping, chugging, technical death metal, which is just like really dark, raw and heavy. I really like it, and I like the lyrics in the song, how they tell a story about, you know, back in the 14th century, people didn't know about diseases and medical treatment, so it's like an interesting concept they talk about, but like just, again, like just chock full of pummeling heavy riffs, great low guttural vocals, and as I've mentioned before, the part of the song that always gets me, the dark atmosphere, is that part where he says, when you're entombed within your mind, you hope and pray. If you could talk, the only things you could say, I'm still alive, please, I'm still alive, don't bury me. And then that guitar solo, it just gives me the chills every time. So great title track to a great album, Gorguts with Considered Dead. Okay, up next, change in genre, and you knew I had to include this band as my favorite band of all time. I know some people don't like them, but Kiss with Lick It Up. Okay, so yeah, I've shown this one before, like briefly in another Thread video. I'm only showing CD format today just to save time, but yes. So this album came out in 1983. Lick It Up, the title track, was the first hit single from it. Just a great, catchy, fun song with chugging riffs, great hooky melodies, great vocals, great lyrics, great guitar solos. Like the solo in it is actually quite simplistic, but it just sticks in your head, that melody. It's just like reeling you in. But yeah, also good message in that song, like, you know, enjoy your life, just go for it kind of thing. So like, sorry, I apologize to people who think things should be negative all the time, but yeah, it's just a great, fun, catchy song. And I may not have mentioned this, but I was sort of a very late starter to Kiss, and ironically they became my favorite band. But when my younger brother introduced me to this band through a Greatest Hits album, it was this song and I Love It Loud from Creatures of the Night. They were the ones which really grabbed me first. So like, this whole album, to be honest, is brilliant. Like, when I bought the album, I only knew the title track, Lick It Up, but the whole album is brilliant. But just that, you know, that track, it's a born hit. Like, you could tell when they wrote that it was going to be a smash hit. So yeah, really fun song, great album, Kiss with Lick It Up. Okay, up next, going to my favorite black metal band of all time, Marduk with Dark Endless. So yes, this was the first full-length Marduk album, came out in 1991, and it was sort of very early primitive black metal, but it was still taking a strong influence from death metal. So this was the most death metal-esque album from Marduk. You can see that transition, but it's sort of that like raw, dark death metal. I love the production on this album, like the shrieky vocals, the clattery raw drums and everything. It's got a unique sound, like it's raw, but it's brilliant. And that track, yeah, the title track, Dark Endless, it's a bit different because it's slow and atmospheric. It starts off very sort of somber and tranquil, and then when the drums kick in, it gets really heavy, sort of like doomy kind of breakdown, and then a lot of time changes in the song. But you know, when they do that breakdown at the beginning where he says, darkness is complete, oh so it burns, like great headbanging stuff. Then they go into the blast beats where it's really clattery and awesome, and like some great lyrics in this song, like overshadowed by ancient evil, my bones are black with sadness, my soul is cold as ice, I will dwell in hell. Really great. And then at the end, when they just, it goes into this breakdown again where those vocals like, Father, I'm your seed, forever you I shall be, may not sound so convincing in words, but when you hear the riffs and the way the vocals enunciate it, it's brilliant. So like, great album, but yeah, that's all I can say, but it was a fantastic choice as a title track. So Marduk with Dark Endless. All right, up next. Now this was another one. I know some people included this in their dishonorable mentions. I think Gordon did. So again, you know, like, on that note, when people choose dishonorable mentions, I don't understand why people get upset. It's just personal opinion. But anyway, for me, this is one which I find is a great title track. So Megadeth with Peace Sells, from Peace Sells, but Who's Buying? So again, it might sound like a cliched choice, but I'll never forget the first time I heard this when I was 14. Like, I had already heard Metallica, and when I just heard the main driving riff in that song, I thought, that is so fucking raw and thrashy. And like, I like the uniqueness of Dave Mustaine's vocal approach. You know, it's sort of like, the lyrics weren't really sung, it was sort of like rhythmically spat out words, but the way it fit that rhythm, and I just thought, this is great, thrashy, heavy stuff. And it reminds me, it was what I imagined thrash metal to be when I heard this song. So love it. The chorus is very catchy, of course. It's got that melodic bass line as well, and what else, like great guitar solos, and then the different transitions, like big epic ending. Just, yeah, great stuff. So I've always loved this song and I'll never get sick of it. I know it's like the cliched song they play live and everyone sings along, but rightly so, because it is a great title track. So Megadeth with Peace Sells. Okay, so 2 more to go in the 10 great title tracks. Up next, some more death metal. Mortician with Hacked Up for Barbecue. So remember I mentioned that in my death metal volume 4 video, I said I recommended this would be an album to start with if you've never heard Mortician. But yeah, so this is the title track number 13 out of 24, and basically it's showing a different side of Mortician, because as I mentioned before, Mortician is like low pummeling bass, extremely low moist guttural vocals, down-tuned guitars as far as you can tune them down, and just a chaotic blasting drum machines, like sometimes 250 BPM. But they also have some catchy and groovy parts, and like on this song, just some great heavy catchy riffs, a lot of groovy parts, but then they also have the like fast pummeling 250 BPM blast beats. There's just so many twists and turns in this song, but like there's extremity, there's catchiness, and when it goes into that middle part, you know, like chainsaw rips through the flesh, like just those bulldozing, pile driving heavy riffs that is fucking heavy as fuck. I know, very articulate, but it's true. But like, there's just so many hooks to keep you interested in this song, and I really love it. So I think if you've never even heard Mortician, that would be a good song to start with, Hacked Up for Barbecue. And it includes a somewhat disturbing intro from Texas Chainsaw Massacre, which is what inspired the song and album, as you can see here. But yeah, just really fun, catchy song. It's like sort of it would be a greatest hits song for Mortician if there was such a thing. So yeah, Mortician, Hacked Up for Barbecue. Okay, so coming to my last great title track. Some people may disagree with me with this one, but Obituary with The End Complete. I know a lot of people don't like this album so much. I think it's good. I really like the raw production and some interesting creative ideas on this, like just the riffing style and the songwriting structure. But yeah, the title track, The End Complete, obviously it starts with that really groovy, heavy riff interspersed with the drums, and yeah, it just plods along and it gets you tapping your head, you know, and then it moves to the faster parts as well, where it starts to go to the, like, manic death metal riffs and everything, and then great vocals which introduce it to these 2 blistering guitar solos, which are just wicked and twisted. I love them. And then it moves around, swings around full circle into that heavy riff, like, and like that's repeated for about 2 minutes. Some people might say, oh, it's too repetitive, but I like it because it's such a strong riff, and I keep thinking every time, is that the last time? Is that the last time? No, it just keeps going. So yeah, just a fun track with a lot of twists and turns. So Obituary with The End Complete. Alright, so that concludes my 10 great title tracks. Now I'll go to the 5 dishonorable mentions. Now, I know I always say this, but there's always exceptions, but you know, don't take it personally. If you like these songs, that's fine. I'm just saying, for me, they're not the best. So, do I hate all of these songs? No, not necessarily. Like, they're just ones which I think are not so great, in my opinion. And remember, I'm not saying my opinion is the law, it's just for me. Okay, so starting the 5 dishonorable mentions. First of all, Dark Funeral with Vobiscum Satanas. So yes, I've spoken about this album, and if you've watched my Dark Funeral rankings video, you'll notice that this album was ranked 3rd. And like, they've released 7 albums now. In my rankings, I only included the 6 up to that point, but so obviously I hold this album in high regard. But the title track Vobiscum Satanas I just find a bit boring. Like It's the one with the low-pitched growl vocals, so instead of the raspy high vocals. And they're just sort of spoken over the top of the music, and there's nothing bad about that song, but it's never really grabbed me much. Like, whenever I hear it, because I know this album back to front, I'm singing, speaking, growling along with the words of that, except, yeah, it's just not a standout track for me at all. And I mean, a lot of people would say, oh, it is the standout track because the vocals are different, but just because the vocals are different doesn't necessarily make it better. So I've always found that song a bit blah. Like, I still play it, I don't skip it, but I'm neither here nor there about it. I'm just waiting for it to finish, really. So, obviously, great band, one of my favorite black metal bands of all time, and this is my third favorite album by them, but just that song I've never been particularly fussed about. So, Dark Funeral, Vobiscum Satanas. Okay, up next, Enthroned, Armored Bestial Hell. So, this is one I've spoken about in a recent thread as well, which is the Evolving Opinions contest run by Pat. So Enthroned, Belgian black metal, and I said about this particular album that it was an album that I used to dislike and then I grew to like it a lot. That's true, but I also mentioned that there's a few tracks which I still find a bit dodgy or don't really appeal to me, and one of those would be the title track, Armored Bestial Hell. Like, it's not terrible, but there's just nothing that exciting about it for me, and I think I see why they chose it as the album title, because it's a good, strong, iconic title, but the actual song itself, it's like not that interesting. The only part I like in it is that there's a breakdown in it where he says fire, burn, and like just with the vocals interplaying with the melody and the music, that's a good part, but it's a very fleeting moment in the song. Other than that, I don't find the song that interesting, but there are so many other great tracks on this album. But I won't talk about those now because I'm going to do an Enthroned ranking soon, so we'll leave it to then. But yeah, pretty good album. I do like it. I've grown to like it, but just the title track I'm not fussed about. So Enthroned, Armored Bestial Hell. Okay, up next, Hammerfall, Glory to the Brave. So yes, power metal band from Sweden. Everyone's familiar with them, I'm sure. This is a great album. Just the title track is the last song on the album, Glory to the Brave. It's a ballad, and it's a bit of a depressing one, and I understand power metal bands, they probably want to have some kind of like epic, reflective ending. When I listen to this, I have to admit I was singing along to the chorus because it is catchy, but I'm not really a ballads person, and I just feel there's so many, I prefer the heavy metal tracks on this album. There's so many good ones like The Dragon Lies Bleeding, The Metal Age, Steel Meets Steel, Stone Cold is a killer track, my favorite track, but just Glory to the Brave, it's sort of like an anticlimactic end to the album. And they probably wanted something somber. It's probably influenced by Manowar, and I understand some of Manowar's ballads are kind of depressing as well, except I just feel, again, it's a strong title for an album, but just not one of the standout tracks for me at all. So Hammerfall with Glory to the Brave. Okay, coming to the last two dishonorable mentions. Scorpions with Animal Magnetism. So again, great album title, great song title. I can see why they chose it as the title of the album. Now the song itself, it's not that bad, but it's kind of, if you're familiar with it, it's sort of like dreamy and it's melodic. It has an almost ambient quality, and there's nothing wrong with that, but it's the last track on the album. That's what they decided to call the album. It's just not a standout track. To me, it's sort of like the ambient fade out to the album. And there is some atmosphere, and it's very talented playing with the guitars and Klaus's vocals and everything, but it's probably, I would say probably the least interesting track to me, but still, it's not bad. But there's so many other great tracks on this, like Make It Real, Don't Make No Promises Your Body Can't Keep, Only a Man. I mean, I'll be honest, this isn't one of my favorite 80s Scorpions albums either, and I will do a ranking on Scorpions as well, but great album, but just this title track has never, sorry, battery was running low there. This title track has never done much for me in particular, but certainly not bad, just not a standout. So Scorpions with Animal Magnetism. And the very last one of my dishonorable mention, so I know this one's going to piss a lot of people off, so terribly sorry about that, but it's my opinion. Yes, sorry, there you go. So, Slayer with Seasons in the Abyss. Great album. This is probably one of my favorite Slayer albums, so that's, again, not a popular opinion, but yeah, I really like most of the tracks on this. There's just 2 tracks which I dislike. I've already mentioned this. Dead Skin Mask has never appealed to me much. But anyway, let's get to the title track. That's the point of this. So Seasons in the Abyss. Do I hate that song? No, absolutely not. Like, I like the clean guitar intro of the song. I also like the main driving riff, the chugging riff, how it's galloping. Like, it's just headbanging material. It's great. The guitar solos are great and really interesting. The only thing I dislike about this song, can you guess? It's the chorus. Just these droning, monotonous vocals, you know, close your eyes. And like, is it terrible? Again, no, but to me, just a bit boring. And it is catchy, but in a kind of annoyingly catchy way. So, I remember when I was on holiday with my brother, like we were coming back from this day trip to the waterfalls, and I listened to this album and I said to him, you know, the 2 tracks I don't like are Dead Skin Mask and Seasons in the Abyss. And he goes, yeah, I know what you mean, like, pretty boring. But again, don't hate me for that. I know a lot of people probably love those songs, so it's just my opinion. Once again, my opinion is not the law, obviously. So, yeah, not a bad song, but I just feel that the chorus brings it down. So Slayer with Seasons in the Abyss. Okay guys, so once again, if you disagree with my opinions, don't take them personally. If you do, just let me know civilly in the comments if you choose to comment. But yeah, so they're my 10 great title tracks and 5 not so good ones, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Sorry about my voice, I know it sounds a bit weird, but slowly recovering. I think I'll rest it a bit after this, but I've just been doing nothing for 3 days, so I felt it's time to take some action. So I'll be back again soon, hopefully with another video, but in the meantime, thanks very much, Mickey, for coming up with the thread. It inspired me to do a video in spite of the way I'm feeling, so thumbs up. And yeah, that's all I'll say. So I'm going to take a rest now. I'll be back again soon. So in the meantime, take care, stay safe, and I'll talk to you soon. Cheers.